of Steelers football, Moan,
Yeah.
we will never stop talking about it. Those guys find a way to keep themselves in the news relentlessly, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they do, man. And for a lot of different reasons, whether it's Superstar A, Superstar B, Superstar C, you are 100% correct. We stay in the mix, man, because you know why, DK. It's you know what? Let's start the show and we'll go from there. You good with that, man?
It's your show.
Let's ring the bell so we can get into it. Here we go.
We are a nation that is attracted to stardom, that is attracted to reality TV, that is attracted to drama. And I'll tell you what, your team, any of them from your 11 years, but especially over the final few years, was just loaded, was just oozing with this stuff, Moan. First off, why is that? And is it necessary? Do all good teams have to have some of that?
Yeah, they do have to have some. I'm a firm believer you need a couple headaches on your team because it keeps the team on edge. And those guys are usually good players too. You have to kind of have that, DK. But you ask why that comes up, though. Let me say this real quick too. Is it's because this is one of the I will never say the greatest era or the greater era, one of the great eras that lived that never got a ring, though, too. Maybe the 90s Steelers teams, too, are included in that fold, too, right, DK?
That's fair.
I'll say this. We will not ever sniff anything close. I listened to Bryant McFadden, who we've had on this show, his podcast, All Things Covered, where he spoke about, he had a conversation with Dick LeBeau. Lord, DK. Hey, I didn't realize that across the board, that defense was 1.
Incredible.
13 games where they didn't score a touchdown, or what was it? Over 200. It was some crazy stat. But hearing him speak about it, hearing them talk about it, they did one thing that needed to be done, DK, 2 times actually. They got a Super Bowl ring. They got 2 of them, okay? And they made history while doing those things too. And now our era keeps coming up because of we were that good, could have been great as a team, as an era, but we didn't get that ring to kind of seal the deal, DK. And that's why we're continuing. I see it in our comment section too, DK.
Here
the Le'Veon Bell. Yeah.
Bob Schreiner says Le'Veon Bell apologized for leaving Pittsburgh. Dude, we got over you leaving the team 5 years ago, 6 years ago. The truck took that trash away. I'm not going to go trash. Lev's just a child, okay? And I don't even say that in a bad way, believe it or not. That's always the way I thought of him. In my dealings with him, one-on-one, it was as if I was communicating with someone who was way, way younger than the other people in the room.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And I think it's because it was a lot real fast, real soon. Like, remember, he started off as just behind. And I can kind of roll with that. When it comes down to how his career kind of manifested itself, he went from a dude that was behind the scene to just the scene itself and competing with dudes from Michigan State. Like, I say this respectfully, Michigan State's not Ohio State, not Michigan, not Penn State, right, DK?
No.
So to come from East Lansing to Pittsburgh and be the dude the way he was, I think it was a lot for him, and he acted in that way too. But he also said what? He said, I think Friday, this past weekend, sorry, Pittsburgh fan, because somebody added him on his Instagram threads and said, will you ever apologize? And he did. And he said, I should have came to camp, or I should have came to the team.
Teresa says that that's not fair to Le'Veon, meaning the trash remark. He had really poor advice from his agent. He was just a kid at the time. A couple of things to that, Teresa. It's not just poor advice. He had the worst agent in the history of professional sports, okay? The advice that was given to him was criminally bad. People like Moan and others in the locker room tried to reach out to him, to talk sense to him, not to be carrying water for the Steelers, but because They knew what was real, Moan. You knew what was real.
I just looked up the contract, and of course, the biggest thing was the guarantee and whatnot, right? I think that was the biggest number that I forget what the Jets gave him. Was it like 34 guaranteed or something like that, DK? Whatever it was, I personally don't think after taxes, after dealing with the losing, that it was worth the actual squeeze. I had so many of the people when I came out, of course, I made my rant about how much more he was making more than me and how he should come sign the deal. And hey, you're a teammate of ours. Like, I got called a pocket watcher. I got called everything under the sun when it came down to what and how I evaluated his situation, DK. I'm sure we talked about this even while I was a player. And it was just of the mindset, just look, y'all just want to be cool. Y'all want him to go off the cliff so that you'll have something to talk about him being a real one. You know how people do these days and not really understanding. You play running back. The system works for you. You're a guy that, look, this amount of money coming your way, I don't know any other industry that's going to give it to you. And of course, now whether he was trolling or whether he was being sincere about it, he says, I should have come in and he apologized to the fans. He don't have to do any of those things, right, DK?
No, he didn't and doesn't.
But when you look at how the game is, what he meant to Pittsburgh and to us, and how it worked in Pittsburgh for him and for us, that deal was as sweet as you could have possibly got. I think realistically, it might have been 3 years or $45 million over 3 years is essentially what it was. He got 2 years in New York, New Jersey Jets. And I don't think he got close to that, DK. You travel city to city, DK, right? You've been in this economy for a while. Pittsburgh taxes are less than New York, New Jersey taxes, correct?
They are.
He would have gotten more money had he stayed in Pittsburgh and done the deal how Pittsburgh always do deals. And of course, everybody's like, be the first one to make Pittsburgh pay up. Be the first one to say, get all the guaranteed money. I've only known maybe one guy that didn't get most or all of his deal. Lamar Woolley got all of his. Heck, I think Cortez Allen got all of his. Guys that got big deals that didn't necessarily live up to what you wanted them to do in that time, right, DK? Troy, I don't think got a major guarantee. The only person that got a huge guarantee may have been Ben, and I don't think his was. They give you so much up front to where if for anything, year 2 and 3 of your deal, they got to keep you because the dead cap hit would be so much, though.
Yeah, the dead cap hit outweighs it. Jackson says, how did Lev end up with such a bad agent?
I met him.
Did you?
Yeah, I met him.
Tell us about him.
I think he was into, this is my opinion. He may see this, or you may tell him I said this about him, and he can come back and say, no, that wasn't the case. I think what happened was they fell into what Le'Veon's stardom was in the media, meaning the big networks, how they plastered him. They thought he should have been paid like a wide receiver / running back at the time.
That's the key.
And
he wanted to revolutionize stuff. He wanted to say, now the way the running back position has fallen off a cliff, that was like the last-ditch attempt to save the way running backs get paid.
Yeah, it was. And I think he wanted to get paid about $17 million a year. And AB at the time, I think, was getting 19, which was the highest at that time. And that's what happened. I actually saw his agent, and he may deny this, and he came up to me. He knew because he was on a panel for the PA, and we were speaking about how agents can help players. Franchise tag was actually the topic of conversation. And afterwards, I met his agent, same fraternity too, and he was just like, he pretty much admitted it was bad advice. He should have came to camp, and that he hate how it all broke down. And I knew this, and I've been knowing this for years, DK. And I'm just like, y'all put me on a table to say I was wrong for telling that man to come get the money.
Yeah, it's just, look, it happened. And there were other things that happened to Lev when he was here too that, let's be real here. He leaves that game in Foxborough, and the game is lost. Okay, no one wanted to think that at the time, but everyone did.
We knew.
Okay,
we knew.
And there were other opportunities for him to be that guy in those types of situations, and it didn't work. But Teresa said something earlier here about about Bell and his maturity. She said, he was a kid. She says, and again here, I thought it was magnanimous of Bell to apologize to the fans. Sounded sincere to me. Yeah, but was a kid is inaccurate. Donnie says that he was immature is inaccurate. Lev is one of those people who will remain a kid his whole life. I've dealt with others. You have too in your life, in your work. That's just who he is. It's not a shot. It's not a dig. Not everybody grows up. Does Bell's agent still have a job? Does he represent anyone on the team now? Maybe.
I bet you he has a strong teach tape on what to do and what not to do when it comes to advising his clients. And I'll say this too. Le'Veon and I are not on bad terms whatsoever because it looked like he and I were pitted against each other for a little while. At least I thought so. We shook it up when he was with the Jets. We talked after that and everything. And we also have DM'd each other back and forth or commented on each other's stuff. So it's all good with Le'Veon as far as how he goes about or what I think. And again, I'm shocked he actually said it publicly, especially addressing it to Pittsburgh fans. I think it's unique. And I will say that's very commendable and upstanding to say, yeah, I can't imagine how he feels, though, in hindsight, because this is the thing that happened. You go from Pittsburgh to the Jets, and then you go to two other teams in between. Like the legacy, DK, if you don't get the ring, you look for what? Do I have the gold jacket? The money probably plays a part in it too. But also like your legacy at the end of that. Where do I belong? Like that plays a part. You always.
That's behind, unless he's got some marketing scheme. And I never, I've learned not to doubt that about him. Okay. But that's got to be the thing that's behind this is he's looking around and saying, hey, what team am I attached to now?
Where do I belong?
Where am I? Okay, what is my family here? Am I really still a Steeler? The way you talk about being a Steeler, Moan, am I still that guy? Am I going to be standing in the end zone with Joe Green and these other guys waving to the crowd? Who am I? What am I?
What's the reception? You know what I'm saying? Like if he does choose to come back, like what's the reception? We spoke about Santonio last week sometimes, remember? Or about 2 weeks ago. Santonio's a Steeler. He can come back. Like those things, like he has a moment though because he has that ring. And then, of course, his was a trade out of Pittsburgh, ironically, to the same place as Le'Veon with the Jets.
Yeah. When we come back, we're gonna do the only segment that matters, or at least so I'm told.
That's Hey Moan, DK.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
And we're back on the Ramon Foster Show. And we have one thing to share with you, which is that if you want to become a member here of this program, of everything that's on the DK Pittsburgh Sports YouTube channel as it relates to the Steelers, is to go to dkps.net/join. We've made it as easy as possible. It's a custom URL. It takes you straight there. It takes your 99 cents away from you. I understand we've had some gifts coming in today. Is that correct? From the barber?
Yeah, Barbara's been making it happen, man. There's been a lot of people that's been making it happen. Y'all are far too kind. This community of subscribers, DK, is pretty fascinating. I like it.
Yeah, it's good stuff here. We're going to dig into some of the questions that have been piling up here while we're talking here. Now we got this one already here. Robbie Jones says, have you guys noticed that George Pickens has been quiet since earlier comments he made? Maybe someone got in his ear. I have no idea what you're referring to, Robbie. Do you?
I don't either as far as comments go.
Honestly, guys, we're a week away. You know, we don't have to go searching for drama or manufacture it in any way. George Pickens is not a controversial dude just because he's a wide receiver. He's not, I got to know him as well as any rookie from that class last year, and he's going to speak his mind at times. But Moan, he's not that guy.
Nah, and I would say this too: if you have noticed him being quiet though too, I think it's because somebody probably grabbed him and had a conversation with him to let him know, like, hey, bro, you got the world in the palm of your hands. you can do all the things that you say you're going to do, but if you talk and it don't happen, you're going to be the one left out in the cold. So I think it's honestly, if he's been this quiet and you've noticed it, Robbie, I would say this. He's in a good spot then. He's a better pro if that's the case. I don't know what he said, but it's fascinating that
I don't think
he's
did.
a little quiet.
Honestly,
yeah.
I'll tell you what. Can you guys take some friendly criticism here? Not you, Moan, but everybody else.
I love it. Yeah.
Out of the 3 teams I cover in this city, there's only one fan base that goes digging ravenously for drama. Whoa, what did so-and-so say? What did so-and-so? You just never hear this as it relates to the Penguins or the Pirates. It's only the Steelers. Everybody's digging for what so-and-so said and what about this and what about that. And it's like, I get that there's only 17 games okay, over 365 days. But honestly, Dr. Shadow wants to know, Moan, if you've mentored any teammates.
Chooks is a guy of mine, for sure. Kelvin Beachum is a guy of mine. BJ Finney, when he was a part of it. Me and Roosevelt Nick's friendship is that good. As a plethora of young guys, I always try to help and guide throughout the way. That's always kind of been my role. DK can tell you that. Like, I try to bring as many guys as I possibly can because these opportunities they're priceless.
Isn't it funny that you mentoring Kelvin Beachum of all people? I mean, Kelvin Beachum is a preacher.
He's a sharp dude, but as far as the NFL goes, he definitely needed some guidance.
He needed guidance, and at the same time, this is what I was about to say about Beach was that although he was used to being the talker, he was used to being the leader, he understood that in this setting that he had only one way to succeed. And boy, did he succeed.
Yeah. He did. And he maximized, said he's going to go till the wheels fall off. He's only leaving when the NFL kicks him out.
Sticky B wants to bring up an actual football-related thing about George. He says, how many games does it take for Pickens to take clear hold of WR1? What's your thoughts on that, Moan?
Heck, he can honestly take that week 1. Right now in camp with DK, right?
Well, he's on Route 30, heading to the campus. That's
so true. we really got to live in a world to kind of watch this flower bloom on his own, though. Like, hoping George becomes number 1. Also, this is the thing. Ain't necessarily a bad thing if he's number 2. We expect him to be 1, but this is the thing. This competition that him and Deontay have to have, I think is super important for the building of this team. If Deontay goes out and ball and he's number 2, then we get a really good 1 and 1A, whatever you want to call him.
Matthew reminds us that at the GetGo Cafe and Market, Moan, quality is at the core of every menu item. Can you tell it's Monday?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my goodness.
Definitely.
Or as someone said earlier, it's Moan Day, but that still doesn't mean the show is going to go smoothly.
Exactly.
3 expert chefs fine-tune every detail at the GetGo Cafe and Market so that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for what they uniquely refer to as crave-ability. Order your favorite entry at the GetGo Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. If not, Matthew Bunk is coming for you.
Oh, my gosh. 3 chefs, DK.
Luke says, hey, Bone, hey, TK, I have a friend who's a Bengals fan, in parentheses, annoying.
Oh.
And he said Kenny is going to be the next Tommy Maddox. How foul is that? Why are we dissing Tommy Maddox?
This is why you always have to, like, put your foot on folks' necks whenever you beat them. Because right now, Cincy's full of it, okay? Cincy's had nothing but second-tier and third-tier quarterbacks. Like, let's not play that game just because you got one that still split games with the Steelers last year. That's what you should have tell them. Like, you guys think you got a knight in shining armor, but you still split games with us last year. Think about that.
That's fair.
That's
fair. Yeah, the chasm there in Cincinnati between really, really good quarterbacks is wide.
Yeah, exactly.
Barbara comes in and just says, shout out to Eddie Harlow for his gifting as well. We appreciate everybody's contributions here, and Eddie obviously appreciates the barber.
Yes,
Tyler Johnson says, people forget how much Rosie Nix had in the running game back then. Moan, is it bad that we don't know how to utilize fullbacks in this offense anymore? Does it matter that much, Moan?
In
2023?
I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I think when you march a fullback out there, he better be dynamic. He needs to do more than one thing, except lead block. Like if it's a down and go get it type of down, third and short, second and short, nobody's surprised. The fullback, I think, has been one of those most talked about positions, DK. But answer this, and I hate to keep asking you questions to answer for me, but I just need people to know. The fullback's primary job is going to be what? Special teams, DK.
Sure it is. Every time. No one wants to talk about special teams. We don't ever get any special teams questions over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to get probably 3 times more plays as a special teamer than he will as a fullback. So what are we talking about when we're trying to incorporate the fullback? Let me go real quick, DK. I think we sometimes out of Pittsburgh, I think we want things of the old. I am for the running game. I am for also ground and pound and beat people up and the defense being on top of the world. But certain stuff has to evolve. The same way in 2000, we'd have never thought in 2023 that the running back position is pretty much a plug and play. That's never the case. Incredible.
So that's been the most surprising thing that happened in football.
So
in a long time.
Suggest that we have to have a fullback on roster when we may need another DB or we may need an extra offensive lineman, or you know what, DK? I'd much rather just give me a hybrid tight end lead type of guy. Danny Smith probably doesn't care what position he is, fullback or tight end. He just needed to make plays on special teams. That's what the position is. I don't even know if we have a fullback for Pro Bowl anymore, DK. And if we do, we know who those guys are. Juszczyk and possibly Rashard. Those are your 2 Pro Bowl fullbacks as it stands right now.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson points out that Rosie played a good amount of offensive snaps. But you say back in the day, Tyler, a lot's changed in the NFL.
Yeah.
As Irv points out here, fullback does not matter with this new QB sneak game. Have you seen Kenny Pickett struggle to pick up that extra yard?
Yeah.
No, they just go right through.
Yeah.
Donnie's the one that gets it right. The league just doesn't use the position anymore.
It doesn't.
And that's the difference here.
I think we all are searching for the old game, and there are remnants of it still. The run game, I think, this year for a lot of teams, I think we may see higher yards on the ground because teams realize defenses have gotten smaller. But if you look at the trends right now in college football, which I follow that, these coaches are going after big offensive linemen. I think Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, the teams I look at, all have linemen committed that are 330 to 350 pounds. I don't know what that signifies, DK, but the game will forever be a big man run game. It's just there are different ways to do it.
Yeah. Twiz says, I love you, DK, but you're wrong about Deontay Johnson. Now, Twiz, I love you right back, but what am I wrong about? You didn't say anything there. What did I say about Deontay that's wrong? If you come back with a clarification, maybe I have a chance to respond to it. Perk says, hey, Moan, how come the Steelers are every AFC North team's biggest rival? The Bengals, Browns, and Ravens all hate the Steelers, seems that way anyway, more than any other team in the division.
Why is it that way? Because you're the gold standard?
Consistent success.
It is. We had somebody, I was listening to Herm Edwards. I was driving home yesterday from baseball. He they were talking about the Rooney Rule and that conversation to come up, right? And somebody asked him, it was Mike Tomlin wouldn't have had his job if it wasn't for the, Pittsburgh Steelers incorporating the Rooney Rule. And, they found him. And you know what Herm was like, why do you think that's the case? Or why did that work for him? You know what Herm Edwards said? He was like, what are you talking about? He says the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's they do. They check all the boxes. That's why teams like Cincinnati and Cleveland and even Baltimore, we can call them Pittsburgh Junior if we really wanted to. Look at the
Baltimore,
DNA
sure.
of that team.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, what has Cleveland been looking for that they hate they missed out on? They've been looking for Ben Roethlisberger, so much so they gave $250 million to. The same thing with Cincinnati. They knew what they were doing trying to get a top-flight quarterback. That's why you will not hear the end of it. That's why we are everybody's biggest rival.
Yeah, Michael puts it best. Always jealous of the big brother.
Always.
And that's just how it goes.
It is. It really is.
Tyler Johnson wants to know, Moan, did you really spike the ball off the camera on Christmas Day and break everybody's TVs?
The ball went his own way. That dude got real up close and personal, DK. I went down, the ball bounced up. It's that little freestanding camera or whatever it is. And truth behind this, Tyler, I thought I was gonna have to pay for that. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know which network it was, but I was expecting to pay for that one, man. I really was.
Nobody even talked to you about it?
No, didn't even bring it up. They actually loved it. It was NBC, I think. They tweeted out about that, and I quote tweeted it, and I was like, sorry about the camera. It was like all good. It was awesome. So they actually tweeted back at me.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if you're in on our line, on our side of the line, and you're that close to the action, we see a lot in the NBA with people who are sitting courtside. Yeah. Hey, sign the waiver, man. You're the one that chose to be that close. You're the one that chose to have your equipment that close.
Yeah, exactly. You pay to be up close and personal. Yeah, 100%.
Ryan Lytle wants to know, hey, Moan, whose stiff arm was better, Vance McDonald on Chris Connie? I believe that was down in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Or Le'Veon Bell on Drake Kirkpatrick.
Oh, don't make me pick those two. Those are, I think, Vance because it was Monday Night Football. But I kind of want to go Le'Veon because it's AFC North.
But also, come on, Vance against a corner?
Vanimal.
That's actually what should have happened.
It should have, but he lifted that man, DK.
He did lift it.
He lifted that man.
He lifted that man, DK.
That man has a family. He has a family, man. You know what I'm saying, DK? That guy he got kids that got to live through that, DK.
Vicious Violet is one of several people to come in with a contribution today. They're always appreciated, even if they aren't vocally acknowledged. We'll put them on the screen every time.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody who keeps this show rolling along here. Tim Tabor just became a member for the first time. For the first time, I should point out here. And I say that only because I remember everything.
Welcome in. Yes, indeed.
Jake says Vance's was way more fun. Casey points out that Najee threw a pretty good stiff arm as well. And Tyler says that the Lev Bell highlight was one of the most impressive plays I've ever seen by a running back. Juke, stiff arm, juke. That's why, and Drake Kirkpatrick could bring people down.
He could.
But then Vance's was very.
It was. Le'Veon shook a D lineman. Malik Jackson just retired this past weekend. Jacksonville released actually him getting shook by Le'Veon. He said he almost broke his leg on that play. That juke move was insane, man. Oh.
Wrongism says, hey, Moan, which one do you prefer? Monday nights, Thursday nights, or Sunday night for football?
Sunday night.
Why is that?
Sunday, because the full slate's there, and we're the end dinner. We're the main appetizer. The main dish.
You sleep in?
Sleep in also. The Monday gets kind of interrupted because, especially when we're on a roll, you realize it's still a business day. So get into the mindset of football is about to happen while you're watching people go to work, and then, of course, Monday, you get right back into the short week aspect of Monday Night Football too. You're really short a day for the most part too, having to play again on Sunday. I love Sunday night.
Thomas points out that Cam's reaction to the Vanimal stiff arm was equally entertaining. Cam, of course, was off. He was right there somehow on the sideline. I don't know if he was following him down the sideline or what it was, but he just happened to be in the shot. And you're like, wow, that only added to it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was fun.
Kevin Osborne says, hey, Moan, do you think Alex Highsmith gets signed before training camp? Love the show.
It's hard to say. I'd say this. Let's just put a tab in it before the season. Because you know how they work too. Before training camp means what, DK? Oh, we've seen enough. We need to, go ahead and pay you. He comes in and his name is ringing bells, DK, as far as Alex Highsmith go. Then the process of getting paid will start in camp, and they'll probably try to do it before the kickoff of the season.
Yeah, it's one of those. I can't say this often enough. They don't say out loud that they intend to sign somebody and not get them unless it's the guy that we led this show with. That's the only exception I can think of.
Yeah. It really is. And I've seen guys get to camp, do the condition test, and they get a call from Omar or Kev that they're about to start talking. So that's usually when it happens. Is during camp is when those conversations happen.
Michael Henderson says, hey, Moan, great job, guys. Was just curious if there was a play that you remember being called in the huddle that you expected to fail, but that still somehow turned into a really big play. You don't really go in with that mindset, do you?
I don't, because if it don't work, it's quick and over with fast. It's like, all right, let's make up this hidden yardage. To say there was a specific play I expected to fail but turned into a big play is usually the opposite way around, where we're about to do a flea flicker or something like that, and I'm expecting a 50-yard gash, and it kind of turns into a sack or a throwaway or something like that. That probably happens more often than anything, where we'll practice a play, DK, throughout camp, ready for it the week of, and it turns into a dud. Like, that probably happens more often than a play failing and turning big.
Tyler Johnson says, I agree with Moan about Sunday night. Ben always said Monday night was the best. Doesn't that affect your following week, though?
It kind of does. I'd much rather be in weekend mode, when it comes down to what the game is, instead of like having to wait till Monday, and it's all day wait till you got to like get a workout in on Sunday, and then you also got walkthrough on Monday. Like, I hated the tedious aspect of like pre-game stuff on Mondays. That's what it is.
Barber, this is to me the essence of the Le'Veon discussion, which is how do you leave $14 million on the table? I had a general manager, this was in another sport once, say to me, I don't think that some of the kids that we deal with understand all the things that can go wrong to you in your life. And when you're presenting them with this amount of money, okay, and it's just sitting there to be taken, how do you turn away from it? How does it happen, Moan? What's the supporting cast? Does the agent convince you to let it sit there?
His situation was a little bit, he thought he could squeeze a franchise that's never been squeezed before. That's first of all, you got to know who you're up against, right? As that portion of it too. But this is the NFL though, right? I tell you guys all the time, like, we live as pro athletes, and I think almost in all sports, in fantasy land. We do. We think the world revolves around our decision making, and the train won't continue to move. Like, Le'Veon's situation, truthfully, just showed me when they decide to move on, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, think about that year though, and I'll get back. How do you leave it behind? We ended up still having a Pro Bowl running back, DK. James Conner was a Pro Bowl running back along with Roosevelt Nix that year. Like, let's be real about what we're talking about. The game doesn't stop, but how do you do it though? You leave it. Ego, bad advice, and honestly just thinking you're above what the shield is. I hate it. I do as a player. This is my union side coming out. I hate that they have a stronghold like that. But sometimes, man, you get what they only dish out to you. And if that's only $14 million and you're looking for 17, take the 14. Oatmeal is better than no meal, DK.
Josh Grimm wants to know if Bell's contract situation was the beginning of the end for the big name running backs getting those big contracts. I'll jump in with my own thing here first, Josh, and that's that kind of apples and oranges here. Remember that one thing everybody's got to remember here, okay, is that the Steelers did offer the money.
The most.
Yes. So it's not like the Steelers were above this process. It's not like the Steelers were immune to the idea of paying Lev in a different way for everything that he meant to the offense. They, in a way, fell for it. But they just didn't put up the money that this clown agent wanted.
Yeah.
It's not like the Steelers were, they held tough. They really didn't.
Yeah. They really didn't. Was it the beginning of the end?
Can you imagine a running back getting a $14 million today?
That was $6 million more than the next guy at that position that year. And I think one of the best running backs in the league right now, or the last few years, has been Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry is still teetering to this day around $12 million, DK.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where we're at with the game, man. More guaranteed money. Jay Jones, he put on the Bell wanted more guaranteed money. This is the finicky part, right? Now let's talk again real quick. And I hate to keep doing this, but real quick. I think Jets offered him 32 or 28 or whatever it was. Pittsburgh was offering 18. Well, over 3 years, you get 45. Let's talk about that 32 real quick, or that 28 that he was supposed to get in taxes. 14 gone out the window because of the taxes. And then you got New York State tax, I think is another 13%, right, DK? So now he's down to 9. Then he got agent fees. That's another take on it. Then you got Medicaid. That's another take on the DK. And then you got like union fees and dues. Like that 28 probably turned into a solid 9 in New York. And then you get taxed on it from state to state in what you play in and you go to. So at the end of the day, that 28 made out of New York may have turned into right above 8 or close to 9. Mm-hmm. In Pittsburgh, what they were offering him over that time, that 45, and he only got 2 years of that, okay? And it was cut midway through the second season of that too, y'all. But if he come to Pittsburgh, we have everything set in stone for him as far as the style. We were still in our prime as far as an offensive line goes, right?
Yes.
You would have got at least those first 2 years. The first 2 years of that deal was about $33 million, which is about 15-year average for him. 15-year average.
He would have gotten both of those.
On top of the Pro Bowls, the All Pros, and the potential to also play for a Super Bowl.
And all the rest of the stuff that comes with it, if you can monetize it, you're famous as hell.
They've never taken away from guys stardom in Pittsburgh, ever. So you get the marketing behind it. So again, the guarantee is one thing. I feel you get the big number, but in New York taxes compared to Pittsburgh taxes, it's a different conversation we're having. I never wanted to be a player in New York or California.
You're going to take a couple more today. Colton says, hey, Moan, I'm coming to the December 23rd game. What's the number one thing to do while in Pittsburgh? Besides, of course, coming in to see DK's headquarters and shop and to hop onto the show.
I almost tell anybody. I know you're an urban rat yourself, right, DK? You love the inner city.
That's where I've been my whole life.
At that time, go around, what is it, PPG? No. Where's the skating rink at? Is it PPG?
Yeah, it's a PPG. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
PPG ice skating rink. Go see that. That's awesome. The ice rink. Go to the Strip District Saturday morning. Beautiful. The Strip District, I think, is one of the most coolest places you can go in Pittsburgh on a Saturday before the game.
Yeah.
All black and yellow, all local shops for the most part. And tour, if you got not a whole lot of time, see the Riverside area. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, when you're December 23rd, you're obviously just a couple days from Christmas and everything. Yeah. We get all dolled up here downtown for Christmas, and that includes our place. Yeah, and the shopping is very much back from a pandemic era and everything, and it's a really good time. Just bundle up.
Please bundle up.
Yeah, and what Moan didn't mention here, this doesn't have anything to do with being downtown or our shop or anything, but if you go over to Acrisure Stadium, there are now things to do there year-round. And I still don't know that the Steelers have done a great job of putting out this word between the Hall of Honor, the museum. It's now an open thing year-round, in addition to a greatly expanded pro shop. Now, don't buy anything at the pro shop. Buy it from us. Before you go over.
Please. Yeah, no doubt about it. But
that's how we'll do that.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh downtown area, I actually love it. It's not congested as other downtowns is. Heck, even Nashville is unbearable. Pittsburgh's not unbearable yet.
Moan stopped to see us. He just parked like right across the street, popped out of the car, just like on Fifth Avenue. There was like no big deal here. Matt Hyde asks, hey, Moan, Antonio Brown. My question is, did the hit in the playoff game at Cincinnati, and everyone knows what that is, that was the Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, imagine the way they're enforcing the rules today, what he would have gotten. Did that change him?
AB wasn't an issue, though. On the field, I'll say this. In the locker room, model citizen. On the field, model citizen. Outside of the building, other than the later legal stuff, DK, I can't name a lot. Now, maybe some stuff that was hushed and everything, but in total, like, he wasn't an issue. I don't want to make it seem like AB was a bad guy inside the locker room and as a teammate. The hit, I'll say this. When people have traumatic stuff happen sometimes, you just have that screw it factor about life. I think what that hit may have done, I don't think it wrung any screws loose. It may have just made him think to himself, man, I'm out here, could almost die Why should I care this much more when I just give myself to this game? That's the only thing I can think the hit did to AB was just raise his not give a doggone factor as far as the game goes. I'm going to do what I want to, and I think that's how he ended up out of Pittsburgh and also made himself available to leave out of out of Oakland at the time. That's the only thing I think the hit did to him because he's a very smart dude.
He's unusual. My answer to that always is in my own dealings with him is that it wasn't sudden. Everybody likes to portray it as sudden.
It wasn't, was it, DK?
The change that came for him from being this humble sixth rounder, I'm so honored to have made it, into being what he became.
Yeah.
Was not like, oh, Vontaze hit me.
No.
I've now turned into the Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus or something. It's like, the Joker falling into a vat of acid. Okay.
Yeah.
This was a very gradual, whether you want to call it a decline or a disintegration or whatever, but there's no narrative to attach to this.
It wasn't. And with more stardom and more ego, DK, guys figure out what they can and cannot get away with. It's essentially what I'll tell you. Like his legend grew to a gradual state, DK, that it allowed him to get away and do those types of things. It wasn't instant, as you said.
Yeah. Josh wants to know when you're going to have Lev on here.
You know what?
Now
may be the actual time.
Yeah. Now
the fact that he said it, I was vocal. He was vocal. I'm going to hit him right now on the show.
Dude, what's funny is we had to come to you. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Around the time of Lev's holdout, everybody was over like going, "Hey, Moan, what's happening? What's going on here?" And then it became about, "Oh, Moan, are you ditching him? Are you throwing him under the bus here?" Remember all that stuff when it was offensive line controversy week?
Yeah, we've communicated. Bam, right there. I'll just show you that. I'm on this page right now. I'm going to DM him and be like, "Hey, Le'Veon, you want to come on? Want to talk this thing out just to see?" All right. So for you guys, boom, this may be the next best one we'll have.
Say it straight to the fans. All right, Moan, let's do it again tomorrow.
I'm game for it, man. If you're here though.
Well, what if Lev's here instead?
Well, if you keep bringing host in, you won't have a job. That's the problem.
I have noticed this.
Yeah, you got to stop bringing host in.
Tomorrow's show will be, by the way, on my end from the headquarters and shop. So if you happen to be downtown and you're walking past on Fifth Avenue, we're at 224 Fifth Avenue, right down near Market Square, like around the corner from Market Square. Feel free to poke your head in.
Yes, indeed.
Let's do it again tomorrow, Moan.
Yeah, and maybe some I don't even know post-show stuff, DK. There's probably no reason to stick around.
No, I don't think that there is.
On a Monday, absolutely not.
It's a weird day for me.
What?
My passport expires today. Passports only expire every 10 years. And I got a little bit lazy here because it's not hockey season. And I do most of my international travel, obviously, up and back to Canada here. But it's just like I have it sitting here. Do you ever do this? Like I have it just sitting next to my machine. Like, take care of this, dummy. Take care of it.
Yeah. You want to hear something fascinating about passports? Mine expired during the pandemic. I wait till the last minute to get it done for our vacation that we went on. Didn't come in. The week after we got back from the cruise we got on, passport came in, dude.
Yep.
If you've been waiting, send it off right now. And y'all, I am DMing your guy right now. I'll give you an answer. I promise you.
Well, remember, he doesn't always respond immediately because he has to do the juke. He has to see where the hole is.
Yes, indeed. Somebody asked what side did he like running to. Truthfully, he didn't have a side he ran to. It was wherever the open gap was. And if we have him on, we'll ask him about that too. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great stuff. Because he's just going to say, well, wherever 73 was, I felt real good about it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, guys. Other than the fact that we've ticked off Randy because Moan didn't put his shades on,
Randy, you're right. You're right. But I don't need y'all looking in the shades glare to see what I'm DM and Le'Veon either, though. See?
Keegan thinks Lev's gonna want $1 million to be on the show.
Our
if
budget.
so, my fee's about to go up as well.
DK, guess what I got for somebody wanting a fee for this? I got a bell for him. Okay, that's all I got. I got a bell for him.
Tell him we'll name the new bell after him. That's the deal. We'll call it the Le'Veon Bell.
Hit the Lev.
You know, the one that Casey sent in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He'll like that.
I have on loan. Yeah.
We can do that.
Although he always has to remind me that I have it on loan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Let's do it. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Y'all be good.